very own organic coconut flour muffins. And I've decided to make chocolate banana. Just to show you some of my ingredients, here are some organic chocolate chips. Of course, I've got an organic banana here. Use 4 eggs, a cup and a half of raw cashews, which I'm going to chop up here shortly. I'm using the organic coconut flour. I'm going to use a can of organic coconut milk. I'm using, I believe, about a teaspoon and a half of baking soda, and I'm using the coconut spray oil in my muffin pan, as well as half a cup of coconut oil. So I'm going to be showing you pretty much how I do this, and so let's get started. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to preheat the oven to 400 degrees. Now I'm going to spray my muffin tins with the coconut oil. It's kind of hard to hold the camera and do that at the same time, but just so you get an idea, that's the way I do it. And next I'm going to combine all of my dried ingredients. Notice I'm using just a heaping half a cup, just a half a cup of the coconut flour, along with 1 teaspoon of the baking soda. And I'm also going to use just a pinch of salt. Now, you don't have to put salt in it, but I just find that when you put salt, a little bit of salt and something, maybe 2 little pinches, in stuff, it tends to bring out flavor. I then take a quarter of a cup of coconut oil, and notice at room temperature coconut oil is pretty solid, so I'm going to put this in the microwave just for, I don't know, 20 seconds or so, just to liquefy it. While the coconut oil is liquefying, I'm going to just kind of stir up my dry ingredients here a little bit with a fork. You can sift it if you want, but I don't think you really need to do it. Just kind of stir it up, kind of get the lumps out of it. And that tends to work pretty well. Now that my coconut oil is melted, I go ahead and put it in a large bowl. So I'm going to pour that in the bottom. And then you add the 4 eggs, and actually you really should do 1 egg at a time, but since I've only got 2 hands, I went ahead and put all 4 for the purposes of video in this. When the eggs are adequately mixed up or whisked, at that point what you're going to do is add anywhere between half a cup and a whole cup, actually. I'm sorry, anywhere between a quarter of a cup and half a cup of honey. And I've got somewhere in between, because some of it will stay in the container since honey's pretty thick. So mix that in there. And then you're going to put a whole can of coconut milk in there with the mixture as well. Put a whole can of that. And then you're supposed to put about half a teaspoon of lemon in there. And so I'm just going to squeeze it. Just squeeze some juice in there. Try not to get any of the seeds in there. Just to give it a little bit of little lemon flavor. Not much, just a little bit. And I'm going to hope that that's about the right amount. And then once we do that, we're just going to whisk all that together, mix it up good. Next I'm going to add my cup and a half of chopped cashews, but first I have to put that on and just pulse it a little bit, see if I can't chop those up a little bit. Here's a view of what it looks like pretty much after I've gone ahead and chopped those up. See, it's pretty small bits as well as some dust almost, and that's the way it should look when you add the chopped cashews, raw cashews. And now I'm going to add the chopped cashews to the dry mix, the flour and the baking powder, soda, whatever. I'm going to add this, now the dry mixture, to the wet. I'm just going to kind of fold that in there. So let me go ahead and just kind of add it And I'm going to stir that up because I've only got 2 hands. And now I've poured all of it in there. So now what I'm going to do is just use the whisk and just kind of mix it up good. You can see it's kind of chunky. And it's supposed to be a little chunky. And as you can see here, I have chopped up a banana, just one banana. I guess you could put a couple in if you want. You can experiment with that, but I'm just going to try one. And as you can see, I've just added the banana pieces in there, chopped up pretty finely. Just stir those in really good. And the last thing I'm going to add, and this is kind of a take on a different recipe, because before when I made this, I did not add bananas, but I added dried cranberries and raisins and did about half a cup of that with some cinnamon on top. But today I am making banana and chocolate because I think it would be different. Now notice these are dark chocolate chips, and they're actually kind of large. I didn't realize they were going to be this large, but we'll add them anyway. And I'm going to go ahead and add it was a whole bag of them. And the last thing we're going to do is just stir those up in there. And here they are in the muffin tins. Now you probably should just fill them up a little above halfway if you can. I had a little extra mix left over, so I filled them up probably a little fuller than they ideally should be, but they still should do fine. They'll just be nice. Should be nice and puffy. So we're going to throw them in the oven now and see how they turn out. Turn the timer to about 16 minutes just to make sure, because I do not want them to overcook. And as you can see, our 16 minutes are up, and that's pretty much what they look like now. Notice they're nice, a little brown on the edge. And there you have it. There's the final product. Let's see if I can get up closer. I gotta tell you, I tried one, and these muffins are pretty awesome. Hope you enjoy.